welcome to my channel, and I am Stephanie, and this is August 2017's wrap-up. Oh, I'm back on it, y'all. Back on it. I started a new job at the beginning of this month, and it has been super busy for me, but I read 11 books this month. And I'm going to change up the video just a little bit so you guys can actually hear about the books instead of just seeing them on the screen and seeing the stars that I gave them or hearing what stars I gave them. I'm going to talk about the books just a little bit, so that's why I'm going to split up this month and do August wrap-up and current reads, and then also a September TBR or hopes video, as well as August mail, bookish mail. So that's going to be 2 videos. So let's get to what I read this month. The first book that I read this month was The Brightest Sunset by Laine Martinez. I gave this book 5 stars. It is the second book in this duet, and this book is amazing. I would have to say it's probably one of the best conclusion books that I've read this year, because of the simple fact that it takes you there. Especially as a parent, it drives you to the point of asking yourself, do you want to stay in the darkness or do you want to finally find the light? And it is just absolutely amazing. The second book that I read was Elusive by L.A. Fior, and this book is about pirates. Do I really need to say any more about this? I was so outside of my comfort zone for this. It's a love story that takes place over time. You have 2 actually parallel sort of stories going on, and one is in modern day and you have modern day pirates, and I just loved it. Don't go into it thinking you're going to get a lot of historical information about pirates per se, but the fact that they are modern day pirates is very intriguing, and I really did enjoy this book. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and it was an ARC as well, so that video is going to be down in the description box. The next book I read was The Gift by Margaret McHazer, and this book is the first book in a duology. It is an urban fantasy. It is something very, very different. It is crazy. So you have this 16-year-old that has emergency surgery, and all of a sudden she comes out of emergency surgery and she has sort of this thing going on with her. You don't know what it is, and I gave this book 4.5 stars only because it felt a little off because it was the setup book of it, but as it went along it was good. I really was intrigued, and that ending was amazing. Both books are out. I have the other book being reviewed in just a couple minutes, so hold tight for that. The next book I read was The Wild by Kay Webster. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and this book moved up my list. It was already on my list to read as an ARC, but I didn't get to read it until after it had been released and after it had been banned and after they wanted to censor this author, and there was so much Facebook drama and craziness that I just had to read my copy of the book. I had to do it because I had to figure out for myself if all of the information that was being put out there was correct. And of course it's not, because I totally think that people need to read books and make their own minds up. Don't take what someone else's review is as set in stone, even if there are spoilers about the book, because you never know how those different things are going to make you feel, or how you're going to interpret that author's writing or their journey, their storytelling, because in the end, a review is just a snippet and one person's opinion about how a book should be. The next book that I read is I Do by Letty Harper. I gave this book 5 stars, and all I can say about this one is that Letty likes to torture me, and whatever happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas. I loved this journey with these two characters going to Vegas when they were young, and then us zooming ahead quite a few years to see if they work out or if they don't work out, and it was just amazing. But if you want to know my full feelings about that, please check out the video down below, because I have lots of words on how Letty tortured me for this book. And I also gave that book 5 stars. I think I said that. The next book I read, or actually I listened to, was Everything for Her by Alexa Riley. As I said, this was an audiobook because I am now commuting to and from work. I get to listen to more audiobooks. I give this book 4 stars. This was my first full novel, I guess you could say, from Alexa Riley, and it had all of those aspects that they usually have in their short novellas and short stories. It was swoon-worthy, it was fun, it was sassy, the characters were great, and I just really enjoyed it. I look forward to reading the rest of the books in this series that are standalones, but tie-ins, so you don't necessarily need to read the first book, this book, to understand the rest of them, but I can't wait to get my hands on them. And I give that book 4 stars. The next thing I read was The Curse by Margaret McHazer. This is book number 2 in that duology that started off in The Gift, and I gave this book 5 humongous stars. I read it as an arc, and everything that I was sort of missing in The Gift, I found it in The Curse. It was amazing. I really, really enjoyed this conclusion. Thoroughly enjoyed this conclusion. The next book I read was Twisted Twosome by Megan Quinn, and I gave this book 5 stars. This book follows Racer. You meet Racer in a couple of the other books before, and he is a construction worker. He is crazy. He loves his Little Debbie snacks, and it's fun, it's swoon-worthy, it's sexy. The female character that he's set up with or is connecting, they have this whole enemies to lover thing going on, and it's amazing to see this journey that they go on, because he is full of heart and has such a great backstory that it pulls at your heartstrings, and then she is wanting to rediscover herself and become this person that she really wants to be, not the shoebox version of what her family wants her to be. It's a great journey on both ends and together. The next book I read was Eternally London by Ellie Wade, and this is book number 4 in the Flawed Heart series. I give this book 5 stars. I give this book 5 stars because I connected with London so much more in her journey, in what she had to go through, and it was just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Loved every single moment of it, and it totally wrapped up this series to a beautiful and heartfelt conclusion. The next book I read was Fix Me Not by Carey Heywood. I give this book 5 stars, and it's all because I got to meet a character that I had been chomping at the bit to meet. His name is Asher, and he is one of the Thompson family boys, and you get to hear his story and why he is just so, I want to be at my lake by myself. It's great. Loved it, loved it, loved it. This book actually doesn't release until later on this month, so you guys can't get your hands on it until then. But know that it is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And that video review won't be out until later on this month as well. The final book that I read this month was One Night by Alethea Roman, and I gave that book 5 stars. This is the second book in her lighter side of Alethea series, and it's not connected with the other book. It is a standalone. You do not need to read the other book to realize how wonderful Alethea's light side is. It's funny, it's swoon-worthy, it's sweet, it's heartfelt, it's just amazing. I loved it, and I can't wait to get more of Alethea's light side. Gave that book 5 stars if I didn't mention it. On to my current reads. So, not sure when I'm going to be posting this video, so hopefully not too many of these books have been finished by the time I post this. Currently, I am reading You by Caroline Kepnes, and as many of you know, it has been hyped, or it's a controversial book here on BookTube. You either like it or you don't like it. So far, I'm about like 50 pages into it and it's fucking creepy. That's all I can say about that one. I'll just leave it at that. And woo, I'm actually reading the physical copy of this book, so it might take me a little longer. But next, I am listening to Big Little Lies by Laine Moriarty. This is another book that is being hyped or has been hyped in the past here on BookTube, and I absolutely am adoring this book. Because I watched the series on HBO, I loved that series, and now hearing the full unabridged version of the book is absolutely amazing. I'm glad that I watched the show before I listened to the book, because there are a lot of damn characters in the book, and I think I would have been thrown off having to read those characters or listening to it, trying to figure out who's who and who are the main characters and who are just the secondary, just kind of pop-ins here and there. So just really glad that I watched the show before I listened to the book, and I'm really enjoying it. Next is Amnesty by Cambria Hebert, and this is the second book in the Amnesia duology. And this book, oh my goodness. So the first book, it was more of a romance for me, and this book is more of a mystery. I'm like sitting at the edge of my seat trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. It has a romance in it, but it definitely has that mystery suspense aspect going on. It is so good. And then this cover is absolutely amazing. Freaking amazing. Oh my gosh. And then finally, I am still reading The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I've been reading this damn book for 2 months now. Actually, yes, 2 months since the end of July. And I still can't get through it. I am about, I think it said I was at 61% according to Goodreads when I put in my update. And Lord help me, because I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. It has lots of issues for me. It is very one-sided, and I don't know if I'm going to put this book down and just let it go, or if I'm going to go ahead and continue on and read it, because I'm being tortured at this point. Just being tortured. And I do not like having a one-sided story. I think a story needs to be well-rounded. So I probably will just push through, because I gotta see if she's gonna give me another side, because as of right now at 60%, I'm still getting only one side of this very hot button topic that has been done quite a few other times way better. So that is my August 2017 wrap up and current reads. Hopefully I get this video out to you guys sooner than I usually do, which is like mid-month. You want to know anything about any of the books that I did read this month, they're all down in the description box, all except for one, I think, but I've done videos for them. If for some reason it's one of the later books that I read that I haven't released a video review for, just keep an eye out and it will be released. If you want to know what I'm reading for September, please check out the next video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, I started a blog and a Goodreads group. That information's down in the description box. There's a feedback form down there as well, so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.